Hey everybody, Andrew June Donovan here with Donovan Rising. So Jeffrey and I recently made a video where we talked about why we chose the name Donovan Rising, and we also asked you guys what you want to experience, achieve, and become in 2017. And Anthony Torres responded in a comment and he asked, can you make a video about the self-actualization books that you guys recommend? Because he said he'd love to start where we started. So reading good books is a huge part of our lives, and I know that the kind of people that hang out with us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, all over social media, I know that you guys are the kinds of people who are already looking to up-level your life, and that's admirable. There's so much of the world that's totally unconscious. You know, people that are just walking down the road, drumming through their text messages and their Instagram feed and their Facebook feed, and they're not thinking, they're not conscious, they're not present. And I love that you're here, and that's why we're here too, because we know that it's in the fabric of human nature. Humankind is built for evolution. We're meant to evolve in consciousness, to rise to higher levels of being. That's why we chose the name Donovan Rising. And you don't do that when you are drowning life out with your technology, when you're just this by default all the time. So if you know me and Jeffrey at all, you know that while most people are just drumming through life by default, we're really intentional about how we create our lives. When most people are scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed, I'm reading an ebook on my Kindle app on my phone. When I'm in line at the bank or wherever I am, and most people are playing a game on their phone, I'm doing something that edifies me spiritually, that expands my mind, that helps me learn how to make more money, something like that. And it's the same in the car. We listen to music, don't get me wrong. Jeff likes music with words, and we joke that I like music that doesn't have words, like classical music. And we like entertainment a lot. We watch a lot of movies, but we're intentional about how we are entertained. When most people are listening to music mindlessly in the car, I'm usually listening to some kind of audiobook or lecture, something that's gonna teach me something about who I am and help me expand in my life. And then, you know, when I want entertainment, I pick it very specifically. Just, it's not by default. Does that make sense? I guess you could say our default is personal development. And then we add movies and music and fun things and games, you know, to supplement our life expansion. So I'm going to give you the top books that are most influential for us. And there's actually an order to these books, and you'll understand the order more in a later video. But first this is where we started. And everything that we've learned in our lives, you guys, it's all part of the collective consciousness. And I love that. You're not separate from the kind of person you want to become this year. Not at all. But you've got a brain, and as long as you have a brain, you're going to need to feed it with good things. And that's why I always have good mentors talking in my ear, listening, reading good things, replacing dysfunctional, messed up thinking with really good stuff. Okay, so you ready for the reading list? The first book that we love is A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. This book teaches you about who you really are. Most people are totally unconscious to the fact that they think they are their mind, their ego, their thoughts, when they're totally this other unlimited, vastly powerful being. And then something to accompany New Earth is actually not a book, it's an audio series by Wayne Dyer. It's a live recording that he did, and it's called Secrets of Manifesting. And this has nothing to do with manifesting money, although it does have everything to do with manifesting money, but it starts with who you really are. It's very profound. The next book or audiobook, if you want to go that route, that we recommend is On the Belief Level. What do you believe about yourself and your world and all of that? And the book that we recommend for this is called The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. And in this book, she teaches you how to tap into the belief that love is the only thing that is real and everything else is illusion. And when you tap into that, you are now tapped into the creative power of the universe, of God. And you can create wealth and happiness and joy in relationships and whatever is meaningful to you. Also, on the level of addressing beliefs, I love the book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap. And The Big Leap is a book that's going to help you recognize your upper limits, as he calls them. Basically, any kind of barrier that you set for yourself that doesn't let you make more money than what you're making or have more love in a relationship than what you're experiencing now. And he'll teach you how to blast through those upper limits. The next book that we recommend addresses the level of desires. So most of us go through life with all these egoic desires, wanting, always being in lack, always being in scarcity. And this book, it's called The Sedona Method by Hale Dwoskin. And it teaches you how to go from wanting, always being in lack, into being able to just desire from your higher, from your true self, being in a state of total abundance. A book to address the level of thought, which is where so much of us get caught up, right? We're always in our heads, we're worrying, we're thinking about what other people think about, we're mind reading, we're experiencing that all or nothing or black and white kind of thinking, predicting our own doom, all that kind of stuff. It's a book called Feeling Good by Dr. David Burns. And David Burns, he's a cognitive therapist, and cognitive therapy is interesting because it teaches you that your emotions follow your thought. And this book is all about transforming dysfunctional, irrational thinking into functional, rational thoughts that actually serve you. So the book's interesting as a recommendation because it was actually written for depressed people, people with clinical depression. But the book is not just for depressed people. The book is for people who have brains, people who are alive. Oh, that's you, that's me. And the reason why I say that is because as long as you have a physical body, you will have a brain, a mind, and your mind is constantly going. As long as you're awake, it's thinking. And if you can have really good, carefully selected thoughts instead of the default stuff that most people live in, all the muck, you're gonna have a lot happier life. Next, I have a book to recommend that addresses the level of emotions. So your thoughts produce your emotions. What book would be a wonderful resource to be able to raise your emotional set point? It's a book called Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And in this book, they show you how everybody has an emotional set point. If you were to stick a thermometer into your emotions on any given day, where do you hang out emotionally most of the time? Is it anger or impatience or worry or frustration? Is it gratitude? Wherever it is, this book is going to give you really useful, very practical exercises to be able to raise that emotional set point so that the place where you hang out emotionally most often is something that you really want and love to experience. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit less deep and more onto the surfacey, noticeable stuff in life. Let's talk about books that are great for helping you with the actions that you do. The first book that I recommend for improving your actions, what you're actually doing in life, is a book called The Slight Edge by John Olson. This book teaches you that you can achieve anything by doing small, simple things consistently over time. Of course, a non-negotiable book when we're talking about actions is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And he's going to teach you how to develop habits so that you're habitually, regularly doing the actions that successful people do that create a successful life. And then the last book that I have to recommend for you, this is a book that you stick on the back of your toilet and you read one little bit every time you're in the bathroom. It's called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And this book, it's very long. It's not a sit down and read it in a weekend kind of book, and it's a lot to digest. It's dozens and dozens of principles that the most successful people in the world practice. And I'll read one principle every week actually, and give myself a week to digest and to implement what I've just learned. And it's an amazing book to show you how the most successful people are showing up in the world, on the outside, everything that's measurable, but also he does a lot of good internal work too in that book. So there you have it. Those are the kinds of things, that's where Jeffrey and I started. You know we don't stop. We know that we've come a long way in the past 3.5 years as entrepreneurs. We are so grateful for where we are now emotionally, spiritually, financially compared to where we were back then. And it's because we've never stopped improving ourselves. You guys, we're learning to see the world, to see ourselves, to see God, to see love differently than we had before. And you don't achieve that by drowning out life, drowning out the world, by just mindlessly scrolling through your phone all the time. You do it by purposely and intentionally filling your mind, filling your heart, your soul with really good content. So I hope you've got some great things to read or listen to in 2017. See you guys later.